Hi, my name's Bo Mountain, and I like being creative and making stuff, but I haven't always been this way. You see, in the house that I grew up in, all I had was a wrench and a screwdriver to work with, and my dad wasn't a super technical kind of guy. I took art classes when I was younger, but as I got older, I just thought the people around me were more creative and inventive than I was. Then I went to college, then I got married, then I started a family, and I just kind of put the creative side of me on a shelf. Then I found YouTube. I used to spend hours watching creative people do amazing things, and I ended up learning a lot, but what I realized is I didn't have any practical application to what I was learning, so I decided that instead of sitting on my butt, I was going to do something about it. I started with basic home projects like building sheds and refurbishing an old steamer desk, as well as creating a custom fire pit cover. But I soon started moving to more and more creative projects like painting and detailed woodworking. Until I found my true love, metal. And I don't think it's just because I used to listen to Pantera, Anthrax, and Metallica when I was a teenager. I soon made a desk, then a bookcase, as well as some other projects. Now, I want to turn my hobby into more of a business, but my secondhand tools and stock two-car garage isn't going to cut it for that. And I always like seeing how people have their home shop set up, so I thought I'd invite you to come along and watch me as I try to turn this into a more usable space for myself. But first things first, I need to take you on a tour. So here's the refrigerator, and this refrigerator is broken, and so I have a new refrigerator. So there's that. My old Kennedy junky work stuff bench. I don't know. I've got all kinds of stuff piled on it. And it's really kind of old and nasty, but it works. Toilet paper. Why do I have I have lots of toilet paper, please don't ask me. And roll towels. Roll towels. Roll towels. Toilet paper. Toilet paper, roll towels. If you need toilet paper, roll towels, please let me know. I've got it. Then this is my very high-tech production line. Henry Ford would be proud to see. Monitor, which is not monitoring right now. I've got a big pile of stuff. I've got more piles of stuff over here, some molding and wood, and I got a trash can full of clamps and a bunch of spray bottles. So my garage situation kind of sucks, but on the upside, at least I have enough toilet paper for a small army with a severe case of diarrhea, which is a plus. I mean, having an army in your house isn't a plus, but I guess if they've got the runs, at least you've got the stuff. Okay, maybe it's not a good thing. So the first thing that I needed to do was put together a plan. I used a great free app called SketchUp that you can run right in your browser. I took measurements of the size of my garage and started putting together my shop layout. SketchUp is great because once you have a mock-up, they have a lot of assets that you can import to give you a real sense of scale and how much room you have to work with and what it'll look like when you're done. With the layout done, it was time to get to work. After a trip down memory lane with my old Atari system, I started the demo process with the existing shelving. I then put in insulation, drywalled it, and then began to paint. With that out of the way, it was time to start on the most important part of this transformation: power. Up until this point, I've been working with only 2 outlets and a power strip, which just made it hard wrestling with multiple power tools, extension cords, and blenders for margaritas. So what we're gonna do, the plan, is to put a 100 amp panel. The panel's gonna go there, and hopefully we'll either pull it, hopefully we'll pull in from the crawl space down here, or we'll pull in from the attic if we have to and drop into it. And that will allow us to run conduit all the way over here and all the way over there. And I'm running conduit for really 2 reasons. 1, it's easy to move. 2, it's easy to move. And I might start working in this garage and realize that I want power in different places. So conduit's great because you can cut it up, you can put some junction boxes in there and run power wherever you want to. So I hired an electrician to run a sub panel for the garage, but I should have known it wouldn't be that easy. So, I gotta get to the other side of the house because we gotta fish the conduit. And the electrician is too big to fit under there, so I've gotta shimmy from here all the way to the other side of the house and help him pull some conduit. So, first little hiccup, but it should be fun. Oh, this is tight. Oh boy, that's gonna be fun to get through. Okay, so crawling through the attic could have been one of the worst possible ideas I could have had. I had to crawl all the way under there and over there. I don't think you can see too deep to run the conduit, which is that thick piece right there, all the way over. Then I had to crawl, I had to drag it through all that, and then I had to crawl, and I had to crawl into that little space over there and grab the fish and pull it back in. And as you can see, there's particles floating all over the place. I need to have a respirator on, and I don't. I got it done though. It's in, and now we got to work on the sub panel. So I'm gonna make the trek to get out of here because this is miserable. I used to think the crawl space underneath my house was the worst place on my property. I discovered today that no, it's not in fact the worst place on my property. The worst place is actually in the attic. I was crawling on insulation, so I was itching. It was miserable. But at the end of the day, I got it in. I now have a sub panel in my garage. I never thought I would be so excited about a gray metal box that has nothing in it except some instructions that I'm not going to read. I'll let my electrician kind of talk to me about. The bad news is that I have to go on a business trip next week, so it's going to be about a week before we can kind of finish this up. So about a week later, the electrician came back and we started running and bending the conduit. I had considered doing this myself, but I'm glad I left this to him as he did great work on the kinks and made sure everything was level and true. After that, he fished the wire and then connected everything in the sub panel. Now all we had to do was call the city inspector and hope that he was in a good mood. So the city inspector came yesterday and did an inspection. So let's see what we found out. So let's go through this one at a time. Label all circuit breakers in sub panel of the garage. I need to label all these things. Provide GFCI protection for receptacles in special words and things that are said. So basically they want GFCI here. All right, what else do I have? I'm going to strap all raceway and flex conduit. So they want more straps on the conduit. So we're going to put more straps on the conduit. Provide proper function for raceway that supply garage lights. Provide proper junction. Okay, so what he's talking about is this, which is some hacked up shade tree dealy bob that I put together when I was installing these lights. So I got to fix that. I got to put a proper junction box here. All right. Seal all conduit penetration in rated garage wall. Okay, so this is a firewall, and they don't like that. I have holes there. And that's pretty much it, actually. Well, maybe there, maybe there's one over there. So that's not going to be a big deal. And then provide cover plates for all receptacles in the garage. So they were not happy that these were not covered, so I got covered from Home Depot, and I'll put them on that. And then what do I got? I got provide separation at water heater vent where it penetrates the roof. So they are telling me on an electrical inspection that needs to have a 1-inch clearance behind it. And of course, I brought them in for electrical, and they're pointing out structural things that I've already had signed off because we had work done at the house. So I'm not fixing that. I'm not fixing it. I will fix it at some point, but I'm not going to do it to get electrical signed off. That's what I called it before, was electrical. So that's what's happening. So today, the electrician's coming back over, and we're going to fix some of this stuff. With checklist in hand, we set to work making the necessary changes so we could get this project across the line. Label all circuits in the subpanel of the garage. Provide GFCI protection for receptacles in the garage. Strap all raceway and flex conduit. Provide proper junction box for garage lights. Seal all holes in fire-rated garage. Okay, well, you can't see it here, but he signed off on it, so. Provide cover plates for all receptacles in the garage. Provide 1 inch of clearance around water heater vent pipe. Okay, I know I didn't do that, but I said look, if you're gonna, for the love, So after bribing the inspector with a couple cases of toilet paper, we got everything signed off, which is great. This was by far the most expensive part of the project, and with it out of the way, I can do all the other work myself. Which brings me to step 2, air. I have a 40-gallon air compressor, which I have to drag all over the place or run air lines everywhere to operate, which is a real pain in the butt. Stage 2 is running air lines for easier access, and I'll be documenting that next.